And joining us now is Radhika Gupta, who is the Chief Executive Officer, that is the CEO of Edelweiss Asset Management. Radhika, thank you so much. People who have been successful from different walks of life have shared their experiences with the students in this edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha. You have been part of it. What was your experience like?
Thanks for having me. As I said, it's been great participating in Pariksha Pe Charcha and having that chance to interact with students. Look, I've been a student, one of those topper type students for many years. So I think the idea was just to go out and share stories and experiences. A lot of focus on two things. One is to think about things like time management, planning, just general tips to make this whole process a lot less stressful. Because in today's environment, I think there's so much pressure on students. There's so many mental health issues people are going through. And a lot of it, I believe, can be solved with time management. The second is, of course, studying today has become very different from what it was even in my time. And I think the role of technology, the role of AI. So how to really use technology as a companion, as a partner in your studying journey, how to specific actionable tips that you can use using technology tools to make your studying journey easier so that you're spending your time on the productive things. So time management and technology.
Okay, time management, technology, but since you say that you have been the topper type, do topper types also get stressed?
I don't remember being a very stressed exam time student. I'll tell you, I was at least a super prepared person. And I told students this. I would, for the month, make a timetable of projects that were due, exams that were there. I would divide my day into bite-sized components, break my syllabus into small parts. So I actually don't remember getting very stressed during exams. In fact, I was one of those who would make sure I would stop studying 12 hours before the exam, just relax mind and body, get a good night's sleep, watch TV with my parents. That used to be my modus operandi. So I'm not someone who enjoys anything at the last minute. So this whole last minute cramming for something, even today in my professional domain, makes me very worried. It gets me very stressed out. So I like to plan, prep, and then not stress.
Okay, so let's talk about Pariksha Pe Charcha a little more. What is it that the students asked you, and how was the interaction like? The fact is that it is the Prime Minister's pet idea, and this is the 8th edition, as we have been talking about, which has achievers like you. So there has been a lot of personal involvement of the Prime Minister in these interactions with the students.
So I think firstly, the Prime Minister's involvement in Pariksha Pe Charcha sends a very strong signal that, as a student at this very important moment in your life, because exams are a very seminal, important moment, there's so much energy, expectation around it. Then when you have a set of companions, people to talk to about issues, and when someone, of the Prime Minister's stature, of the Honorable Prime Minister's stature, is going out and saying, this is important, these are issues we have to talk about, whether it's mental health, whether it's being more efficient, whether it's nutrition. These are issues that need to be dining table conversation. We don't just put pressure on students, we also aid them in their journey to become, as he says, I love the word exam warriors. This whole conversion from barriers to warriors, I think, is very powerful. And when you see the Prime Minister come forth, when you see faces that people have known from different walks of life come forth, these issues also become dinner table conversation.
My last question, you essentially spoke about time management, technology. Some may say that technology has its advantages and disadvantages. Invariably, we are seeing Chat GPT being used to problem solve. So what is it that you shared with the students with regards to technology?
I think that's a really interesting question. It's an issue we did discuss. And the key is not to let technology become your master, but to really use it in some sense as your slave, as your companion. You're not studying for exams to pass an exam. Finally, education is about acquiring a skill. And if you're just using technology to write the essay for you, without learning those creative writing skills, without structuring an essay, I'm also a writer, so I picked English as a topic of discussion. Then you may pass the exam, you may clear the exam, but you're not taking education for what it needs to be. So that's the idea. It's to use technology to ideate, to be a partner, but not to do it for the critical thinking, because then you're just going to be clearing exams. And we don't want to produce a generation who's clearing exams. We want to produce a generation who's making the most of the education that they are offered and who has the skills to operate in a changing India.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this 8th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha.